everybody. I am Jessica Koch, and this is Profound Professionals. I am super excited to be here with you today, and I am so grateful that we have been running Profound Professionals for several years now. We get the ability and the gift of featuring amazing industry experts from all over the world and the different ways they're doing things out of the box. And today's amazing guest is Kerry, and we are going to celebrate her because she is the Chief Operating Officer of Actualize Consulting and the author of Culture Infusion and Gratitude Infusion. And I don't know about you, but I cannot wait to hear about Gratitude Infusion. So welcome, Kerry. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found yourself as a Chief Operating Officer here in this consulting firm.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited. How did I come here? So I started my career in consulting. So I've always been in the consulting. So we're a consulting company. And then I've actually been with Actualize for 17 years now.
Wow.
And started when we had 5 people. And just because I have a really good process and systems and organizational background, I was asked to help build out the operational function of Actualize. And that's what I've been doing for the last 17 years. And, really the last 10 of those really super focused on our people first and foremost.
Well, that is a gift that every business needs. They need a leader that really can tighten up the systems and the processes so that the customer service can be high, so that the employee experience can be strong. And it really makes such a huge difference. So talk to us, what's it like to work with Actualize Consulting, and why would someone come and work with your firm?
Sure. It's interesting because when I first started saying, okay, we need to focus on our people, I didn't have this huge plan. I just knew that we're a consulting firm. Our people are what makes our organization. We are providing a service with our people, helping our customers. And within our own team, people want to come work for us because we have this culture that is more like a family, and that people really feel supported and seen, and we help people grow in their careers into their aspirations. And it's interesting because I've written the books and I do podcasts like this and webinars and such, there's so much on social media now that people are seeking us out, honestly, to work. And then from, the types of services that we provide, I have my piece where I'll help organizations create and maintain thriving organizational cultures with the programs that I've done internally with Actualize, which is really interesting because it's not like I'm just doing it because this is what I think might work. This is doing it based on what's worked within our own organization. And I always say it's fascinating to me because we're financial services. So we implement systems, we do advisory services for our clients, huge clients with very complex things around capital markets, treasury, mortgages, fixed income. And our people really love the culture. They love working together. And we've created it that everybody always feels supported. There's not like this competition that some other firms have. You are encouraged to help your teams out, which I think makes just a huge difference.
I love that. That is beautiful. So what is something that you would give advice for either someone looking to go look for a job, or a company HR or operation officer like you who is helping with the operations? How can they apply something that's good for their culture, or how can they come to the table with something valuable?
Sure. I always break it down that it should be something very easy to do, and that's what I love about Gratitude Infusion. All the principles in that book and what we implement internally, it's actually free of charge. And gratitude is something that is so accessible, and it just feels good to people. So I'd say as a first step, start with your most immediate team and start telling people why you're grateful for. And when you say, you can't just say, I'm grateful for you. Tell somebody, listen, you helped me, you stayed late and helped with this deadline, and that enabled us to win this new project. Like give the why behind why you're grateful. And what I see is it starts just ping ponging. It's like a gratitude ping pong that then they'll come back in gratitude with you, for you or other people in the team. And just start with your internal team as a first step. And then it maybe would spread within your organization, or others might join the gratitude bandwagon with you.
I love that. That is awesome. And I think they say it's one of the emotions with the highest frequency, right? Right up there with love. And really, if you're feeling on the edge of, oh, I'm getting a cold, or you're just feeling, not with the season, or you're just not feeling it that day, gratitude is one of those anchors that can always hoist you out, right? You can help you pull you out of those feelings. So I just really love that. I always say when I have a bad day or I'm having a challenge, I have a gratitude ladder so I don't fall too low, right? I just, one thing at a time, one rung at a time will pull me out. And yeah, and I'll be looking back at the sunshine again and feeling better. So have a gratitude.
There's always something to be grateful for, even the smallest little thing.
There is. Matter of fact, it's so funny. We were just, we're getting ready our course for the holidays. And one of the things is we try to, we have a lot of children, and our youngest is 11, and we clean out her bedroom and get things ready and everything. And she has her own bathroom and she has to clean it. And we were talking, her and I were like, well, it could be worse. We could all have to share a bathroom. And she was like, oh my gosh, share a bathroom. That would be terrible. I'm like, see, now aren't you excited to clean your bathroom? She said, yes, I am actually excited to clean my bathroom.
Because I don't have to share this bathroom. That's right. Perspective.
It is about, and you can be grateful about anything, even cleaning a bathroom.
I'm going to have to test that on all my kids.
Well, if they force them all to lock all the other bathrooms down and force them all to use one for a week, believe me, if they weren't grateful before I had that experience, they will be afterwards.
Absolutely.
So Profound Professionals was started not just to feature amazing people who are you're doing some really incredible things with your firm, because that is totally out of the box for your industry and your kinds of consulting firm, to have all these other great pieces with culture and growth, and really, making your employees feel valuable and teaching other clients to do the same. But the other thing we love to feature is the causes that our industry experts care about, because sharing that awareness can be a big step. You just never know who needed to hear what you were sharing today, or needed to know and find out about this cause so that it can help someone else. Like, I love the power that the internet has as we're live streaming and posting and sharing this all these places. You just never know who this is going to find and who it could inspire or help, right? So tell us about your cause.
Sure. In general, with Actualize and just me personally, I find as an overarching thing is this concept of hands-on giving. So I'm really passionate about, if I am going to give back, that I really want to be doing it in a hands-on perspective, which was a little bit hard during the pandemic, but that's okay. We've now pivoted. But one of the organizations that we support quite a bit at Actualize is called Cornerstones, and they service all of Fairfax County in Virginia. And it's for anybody really that is a lower income, that needs support within the community, whether it be from food to clothes to education. They even have tutoring programs. They help with they have even programs for preschoolers. It's just, I'm so amazed every time that I work with this organization of how many people they support in my local community and how many people actually really need that support. And we just, my kids and I, and Actualize supported it, but they used to give out toys and gifts to people over the holidays, but now they've moved to gift cards. But we were able, my kids and I, and Cornerstones, I'm taking over the ELF responsibilities. I'm in training this year. But we served over 2,000 families this year, which was just amazing that they then can, now they get gift cards so they can go shopping with their kids, or, and it's such a beautiful thing.
It is. I love that. With the what's happened in the world the last few years, now more than ever, families that were making it are really on walking a fine line and struggling because of the shift in the economy and the change. The world has gone through quite a bit of change in the last 2 or 3 years, and I don't think we're done yet. I mean, and changes that we won't see come back around again. I mean, that was the old way and the new way are real phrases that are happening all the time. I don't know about you, the P word's been driving me bananas. I think I've heard the word pivot about 5 gazillion, billion, zillion, million times this year.
I use that word a lot too. Well, yeah, and it's interesting too. The lady that I'm taking over the program from, she is so passionate about it because she used to be on the other side receiving support from Cornerstone. So, and now she's giving back her time. So you're right. You might be in a perfect situation and then find yourself needing additional support. So it's just so nice that our community can be that supportive to other people.
I do love that. And we are blessed with some extra time with this amazing guest, Kerry, today. So is there anything else you want to share about Actualize Consulting before we talk about your favorite inspiring books and some of the books that you've even authored? Because I am a book fanatic, as everyone watching knows.
Anything else to share? I think, if you're an organization that really wants to shift your focus more on your people, be definitely something that I would love to talk to you about. But I think one of the things that I love to use to kind of help get a pulse on the organization is using surveys. So what's a question that you could ask your team to kind of maybe kick things off in the new year?
I love that. All right, let's talk about books because they're my favorite. I am addicted. One of my dreams is when we have our dream retirement home, there will be a huge library and there will be so many books.
Same.
So tell me about a book that inspired you, and then also, of course, please share with us about the books you've authored.
Sure. I think the most inspiring book that really actually led me to the focus on our people and accountability, it's called Leadership and Self-Deception: Getting Out of the Box. And it's by the Arbinger Institute. And it just really talks about how in every single situation, even if there's a challenge or things aren't going right, you play a role in that. You have to be accountable for how you showed up, because we're so fast to blame this person, blame that person. If this, but what's your role? Like, how are you showing up in that? And that has just stuck with me. And I always try to, and it's so funny because sometimes people are like, well, you really didn't have anything to do in this situation. I'm like, but I did. And I'll like nitpick myself on something that I could have done better. And I think it's just this self-awareness. And that book really helped me with that.
I love that. Now tell us about Culture Infusion and Gratitude Infusion and where we can find our copies of those books.
Sure. Both are on Amazon. Culture Infusion is 9 principles to create and maintain a thriving organizational culture, from how to be an effective leader, to how you communicate, to how you deal with challenges. Always looking for how are you going to pivot and move forward. Call back to your word. And then, in that book too, there's a lot on, making sure that you're team members are able to have their own aspirations and you supporting them, and all while, and I used to call it work-life balance, but now I call it life-work balance. I think that's really important too. And it's really this holistic view of your organization versus a silo. Because if you do all that right, then you're going to be profitable. Your people are going to be happy. You're going to do well within any industry. And then gratitude infusion, I was actually going to add gratitude to culture infusion and then decided or figured out I had a whole book. That kind of is what happens with me. I write along the way, I do all these things, and then I'm like, oh, I have a book magically. And it is tips of how you can infuse gratitude into every aspect of your business, from having those team, like the little team, that you're doing, sharing gratitude regularly, to larger in the organization, how you're sharing wins and successes with your organization. And it's all just centered around gratitude. And it's, like I said, pretty much everything in there is free of charge, which is great.
I love that. What a great gift to give a client, right? So if you're looking for those gifts to give your client any time of the year, what a lovely one. We'll make sure the links to get Kerry's books are in the article and in the comments of the different postings where you're finding this video now. So we really want to make sure that you can access her if you'd like to get a hold of her and check out. I mean, I know I'm going to check out Gratitude Infusion. I'm sure Culture Infusion's awesome too, but I'm just so drawn to the gratitude. I love that. Super, super wonderful. All right. So if you are an industry leader or a subject matter expert and have huge passion inside you about a topic that if you just got it out there and we could just share it large and far enough that it can inspire and touch someone's life, if you're a profound professional, we would love to feature you. Or if you know someone, give them the gift of getting out there, getting on a podcast stage, share our information with them, because we would love to have them as a speaker as well. Now, before we say goodbye, is there one last inspiring thought that you can share with our audience?
That's a great question. So many come to mind. I think, I think it's really that something that I know to be true in life is that you're always going to deal with challenges. Yes. Everything can be going 100% smoothly. And it's how do you show up as a leader in those challenges, and how can you move forward? Is there a lesson to learn, right? And I just would challenge you, when you are presented with that challenge, instead of kind of spinning in the negativity and, calling 5 people, how about just sitting with it yourself? And, okay, what is one thing that I can do to move this forward in a more positive light?
I love that. And, one of the other things that I learned from one of my favorite authors, Mark Allen, is when you are in a challenging situation, a fun game to play is what's the worst thing that can happen? And I know that sounds like that's so negative, Jessica, but like he would take you down this path, and he would always end up like lying dead in the gutter, and he'd laugh at himself because, that's not going to happen from this situation. So I think we can make it. And he'd work himself back up to this positive place by going, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen?
That's great, because you're right. Like, what is the worst thing? And it's funny, I say that to my kids all the time. I'm like, okay, what's the worst thing? Like, because it's really not bad, because they're teenagers. And
I know, like, what's so scary? Pick up the phone and have a conversation. I'm in sales. Like, I tell people that all the time. The good news is that they can't bite you through the phone. I mean, what are we scared of?
Exactly.
I love that advice. So thank you so much for being on our show. Thank you so much for watching. And thank you so much for being kind enough to share this with others. You never know whose life this will touch or cheer up or inspire for their next step on their journey. So I am Jessica Koch, your host. This is Profound Professionals. We are featuring a brilliant, amazing people like Kerry who are making a truly profound impact on the world. So until next time, be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. Thanks so much. Bye, everybody.